Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So great to see some familiar faces as well as some new ones, too. My name is Marcia Nightcamp. I'm the Director of Sales here at Driftscape. I've been working in the technology industry for over 18 years, and I've been specializing in the tourism industry for the last 4. During my time working within the tourism industry, I've gained some insights into some common challenges when it comes to visitor engagement tools. So I'm here today to show you how to solve them. And joining me is Reed Gibson Ray. Some of you may remember us from the IPW show in San Antonio a few months ago.
Hi, everybody. Today, we're going to walk you through some challenges that commonly used tools have and how Driftscape can help you solve them.
Yes, and then after that, we're going to show you a short product demonstration to show you a sneak peek of what your visitors can expect. But before we get started, Reed, do you mind walking us through a few housekeeping items?
Sure, Marcia. So we have 45 minutes planned for our webinar today, and we're going to do our best to stay within that time frame. So if you have any questions throughout our presentation, please add them to the chat, and we'll take time at the end of the webinar to answer all of your questions in the allotted time. We will also be recording this webinar, and we'll send that recording out to you along with any unanswered questions after the webinar is over. And we will also be taking a couple of polled questions throughout our presentation today, and these will be shared with you in a couple of days.
Thanks, Reed. So now that we've got housekeeping out of the way, let's get started. Many destinations, just like yours, choose to use some of these common tools to help their visitors explore. And they each have their own use case, but also have some inherent challenges that Driftscape can help to solve.
That's right, Marcia. So for example, print guides are great, but they're not interactive for your visitors and don't engage them with your sites or notify them when there's something nearby. And they won't be able to give you insights about where your visitors came from and what's interesting to them. And they're expensive to print and keep up to date. For example, in a recent conversation, one of our customers told us that before moving to Driftscape, they actually printed 80,000 copies of their guides every year.
80,000 guides is a lot. And don't forget that these print guides take many hours to produce and ship, but not to mention keeping them up to date too. And then there's passport solutions. These are great for what they provide, but they still miss out on some key elements. Like they don't create immersive storytelling experiences for your visitors. And they lack support for promoting your events and your festivals. But the big one is visitors can't discover the hidden gems that are nearby or the attractions as they explore. So they really missed out on that stumble upon factor. And while some passes do encourage visitors to check in, they really don't create that engaging experience for your visitors.
And let's not forget about websites, Marcia. This is a needed and a valuable tool. And what we're suggesting today is only meant to complement the work that you've already done to it. So, for example, as I mentioned already, a website won't be able to notify your visitors when they're nearby something interesting or enable your visitors to interact with those sites and stories. And the most important, you're not able to gain insights about what's important to your visitors once they arrive in your destination.
Yes, and then finally there's white label or custom apps. Now, I will note that Driftscape does have the ability to create a white label solution for you, and we're happy to do it. But we have found that these types of solutions have their own challenges, including things like your app's probably only going to get a couple hundred downloads, and you are solely responsible for marketing it. Most custom solutions also have a limited feature set and don't give you control over your content updates. And they are difficult and expensive to maintain and build. A good example here is one of our current customers moved from their custom app to Driftscape because they were tired of all the additional fees. A simple change that they were going to do was going to cost them over $30,000 in development costs. But not only that, your visitors just don't want to download hundreds of apps. So a solution that provides a shared platform really is your best bet. On that note, Reed, how do you feel about taking a quick poll?
I think that's a great idea, Marcia. I know I for sure am curious as to which one of these challenges our audience relates with.
So let's find out. So for everybody joining us today, on the left-hand side of your screen, you should see a poll up here. Please answer the question by selecting the responses that best fit and choose as many as you want here. Be sure to hit submit when you're done. I'll give you a few more seconds to respond and then we'll continue to move on. Now, don't forget, we will be sharing all of your responses as a webinar recap in a few days. All right. It looks like everybody has submitted their results. So let's move on. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Let's talk solutions now. So, how can a digital tool like Driftscape help to solve the challenges that we just talked about? Reed, do you mind giving a quick introduction to Driftscape before we get into those solutions?
Absolutely. Driftscape is an award winning digital discovery platform designed to bring your stories to your visitors through immersive and engaging features. Our platform is currently available on Android, iOS, and the web, with the web being an interactive map that you can add directly to your website to help your visitors explore virtually. And today we have more than 7,000 points of interest across North America ready to explore. And we've partnered with more than 80 happy destinations, cultural groups, museums, and outdoor spaces.
Thanks, Reed. All right, so we talked about some of those challenges that those commonly used tools create. Let's dig into ways to how to overcome those challenges one by one. To kick it off, let's start talking about creating awareness of your destination and your hidden gems. After all, a happy visitor is a visitor who's aware of the interesting sites to explore. And a happy visitor stays longer. And we all want our visitors to stay longer.
You're right, Marcia. And visitor trends actually suggest that most travelers want self guided experiences, but in that same breath, they want to feel like they're getting information from a reliable source. So Google isn't going to cut it for today's explorer.
Right. So you can help your visitors discover your sites through interactive tools like Driftscape that encourage exploration. QR codes are having a resurgence in popularity, and QR code technology can really help you to direct your visitors to specific sites using a tool that's already in their pocket, their cell phone. You can add your QR codes to the back of your hotel doors, to restaurant coasters, on your website, in your social media, everywhere that you promote your sites. And you can let your visitors discover the hidden gems that your destination has to offer.
I think that's a really great idea to add them to the restaurant coasters, Marcia. I know I always wonder what to do after I've eaten at a restaurant, haven't you?
Yeah, or even when you're sitting and waiting for your food, right?
Exactly. And then once I've actually scanned that QR code and found your content, you can create custom search tags that can direct me to more themed content, which will give me even more ways to explore.
Yeah, that search feature is a powerful feature that gives a really great user experience because it allows them to search by their preferred interest. Now, a lot of you may be using print maps or guides to share stories or tours with your visitors. And these are great for a certain demographic of your visitors, but you're really limited on the amount of information that you can share with these. And if an update is needed, you're looking at hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, in print and distribution costs. So, how can digital tools solve these challenges?
Yeah, one idea would be to share the stories of your destination through a self guided audio tour or even a suggested itinerary. And when it comes to immersive tours, Driftscape beats the competition hands down. And our product empowers you to create immersive storytelling experiences for your visitors. And you can add unlimited media to create a tour that, as I mentioned, feels like a guided tour, but that your visitors can explore on their own. And unlike other solutions on the market, you're not billed for adding media. So your visitors will enjoy following along and learning about each of your sites and stories. And as an added bonus, by using our tour autoplay feature, your visitor will be able to take a hands free tour. So as they're exploring, the audio will begin to play once they get close to the next tour stop.
Thanks, Reed. That's a good example, and a great suggestion too. We've definitely seen some amazing self-guided tours created by our partners. I'm actually going to share a sneak peek of one of my personal favorites later in this webinar. But as we continue to explore how to create awareness of your destination, we know that paper-based guides and experience passports and your website, they all have their place in your tourism toolkit. But let's face it, they each share the challenge of being limited when it comes to creating awareness. So find a tool that alerts visitors when they're nearby something of interest.
That's a really good point, Marcia. And also, one of my favorite things about a digital tool is that I can explore a new destination. And when I'm nearby something, I'll get a notification on my phone to let me know about it. This has actually really helped me discover unique sites and artwork that I might have walked by with.
Yeah, that's location aware notifications are a great way of keeping your visitors informed while creating awareness of everything that's around them. And with Driftscape, that even works when the app isn't running.
And then another idea is to create an opt in notification channel where your visitors can actually learn more about your upcoming events, news announcements, or even a new business opening that you want to promote. This is also possible with Driftscape. So your visitors can actually opt into receiving notifications from you, and they can get those delivered based on their choice. So email, text, or in the application.
Yeah, so that feature works well if your visitor has subscribed to your notifications, but there are other ways of reaching them if they haven't subscribed. With digital solutions, in-app notifications can be shared with your visitors based on their geographic location. So visitors who have been to your destination in the last 3 months, as an example.
I don't know about you, Marcia, but I know for myself, I'm very directionally challenged. So when it comes to finding my way around, that's super hard. I rely on my GPS for pretty much everything.
I trust me, I do too. And paper maps, experience passports, and your website can't always help with this. But solutions with get directions tools are extremely useful for helping to create awareness of where your sites are.
And let's not forget about augmented reality. With technology constantly evolving, your tourism tools need to be able to provide an edge to your visitors as they explore. Driftscape's augmented reality gives you that edge. So your visitors can discover what's nearby by pointing their camera and scanning your destination. So if you're like Marsha and I and directionally challenged, I'm able to see exactly where your sites are. And we'll show you augmented reality in just a little bit.
Augmented reality is a really fun way to explore what's around you. And that's such a perfect segue into engaging your visitors with your sites. So let's chat about visitor engagement and some creative experiences that you should create for your visitors. We've seen amazing success when it comes to gamified experiences, encouraging your visitors to play and explore. And trivia games are great for this. Visitors can unlock those clues by answering trivia questions. And the added bonus is they feel rewarded when the clue is unlocked.
Speaking of rewards, for me, I actually love collecting points and rewards, even when I'm shopping, and then redeeming them later. So why not add this to your sites? And you can incentivize your visitors to check out your local businesses or even your local sites through those collectible points and rewards and redeem them with anything that you want. So, for example, maybe a coffee mug or even a tote bag from your visitor center.
Good idea. And going back to that augmented reality that we were just talking about, augmented reality scavenger hunts are a huge hit with visitors of all ages. A gamified experience in augmented reality can really take that visitor engagement to a whole new level. A good example of this actually is one of our partners last year created an augmented reality scavenger hunt for the youth in their community to help them learn about the local history.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But why would they stop there? Well, we're talking about augmented reality mode. You can unlock a whole new dimension for your visitors to explore by adding 3D objects, for example, of those historical figures to teach them about history or even local wildlife to explore. Other platforms on the market can do one or two of these things, but there's no other platform that can do all of this in one solution. So when it comes to visitor engagement, Driftscape has endless possibilities.
Exactly. Thanks for those points, Reed.
Not a problem, Marcia. Next, I think we should explore the challenge of how to promote your events and your local businesses. And I think we should start with events. And challenges surrounding promoting your events can include some of the items that we've already chatted about, specifically about creating awareness.
That's true. So, utilizing a digital platform, you actually have the ability to promote your events that are searchable and they can be updated at any time, which is important if weather plays a factor, or maybe there's just a sudden lineup change that you want to let your visitors know about.
I know I've been my fair share of events that have been rained out, and instant updates would have been super helpful. Some platforms don't allow for that, so be sure to watch out for that as well. And a recent St. Patrick's Day event is actually a great success story when it comes to promoting events within our platform. This customer created a gamified experience as part of their event, and they strategically placed leprechaun cutouts throughout their destination. And each of these cutouts actually had a QR code on them. The visitors scanned the QR codes and it took them into that gamified experience. And visitors of all ages enjoyed taking part in that experience. And over 1 week, they saw over 2,500 views of their event, which I think is a huge success.
Amazing.
And then on top of using a digital tool that's searchable and easily updated, as we've mentioned, to help you promote your event, another really great idea is to create a geofence around your event and leverage a platform that can be used as your event guide. So this is also possible with Driftscape. So when somebody enters that geofenced area, they'll see new content that promotes your event, the vendors, stages, activities, and even more.
Yeah, so the key here is when it comes to promoting your events and festivals, be sure to look for a digital solution that gives you options. So let's move on to promoting your local businesses. We all know keeping your business directory up to date can be time consuming and challenging. Who really has the time for that?
Not
And
me.
yeah, another important factor for a lot of you is your accommodations taxes. You need your visitors to stay longer, so they need to know where your accommodations are. So find a tool that enables you to promote your local businesses, especially those local accommodators, without the added work of keeping it up to date.
A really great point, Marcia. And a resource strapped organization might look towards our automated business listings feature to help promote those businesses without any additional work. Ideally, you should look for a digital tool that encourages shop local, but also makes it easy to maintain those business listings. And as an added bonus for your visitors, you can add special offers to those business listings that are easily redeemable and reportable. So you can share insights to those businesses about how well their offers have been received. And to keep your experience consistent, you can add an interactive map of your businesses, sites, and stories to your website. And something unique to Driftscape is that our interactive map showcases the sites that you want to promote on as many web pages as you want.
You know, you actually just reminded me of another good example here. So, one of our partners wanted to encourage their visitors to shop at some of their downtown stores. So, they created a self guided tour. Inside the tour, they promoted various businesses and told the story of the business within each stop. But not only that, each tour stop had a coupon that was redeemable at those stores. So the visitors could actually learn about the stores and then shop and get some discounts at them. So that's a good example there too. But going back to that interactive map feature that you were just talking about, Driftscape has a version of that as well. We call it Driftscape for Web. Driftscape for Web is completely branded with your colors, logo, and only your sites. And you choose what you want to promote within the map. So when your visitors go and explore with it, they gain access to all of that great media that you've created for them to explore. We'll show you this in a little bit too. Finally, let's touch on visitor insights and control over your content. I saw a few of you mention that control over your content is important to you. So let's talk about that. Paper guides are notoriously difficult to use as a means for finding out about your visitors. And other solutions like your website will provide some information, but once your visitors arrive, provide little information about what's interesting to them. So learn about where your visitors are coming from, which sites are popular, how long they stay, and more through digital tools.
Really great, Marcia. And ideally, they should be looking for a solution that gives them access to view their statistics at any time, but also considers their visitors' privacy concerns.
That's actually a pretty good point there. Privacy is always a concern, so ideally you want to find a solution that doesn't require your visitors to create an account before using it.
And many solutions on the market will force you to use their content creation services, or they'll restrict you to edit your content just a couple of times per year. And often, even your website's expensive to update because you need to pay your web designer to make those changes for you. But what's great about Driftscape is that you have full control over your content and access to analytics. So you have the ability to edit your content at any time or do an import from your current database. And then when you publish an update, it's reflected immediately on your website and in the mobile app for those instant updates that we were talking about. So this really gives you the ability to highlight seasonal content that gets published throughout the year, like a spring walk or even a haunted walk in the fall. And this will also give your visitors an up-to-date view of what's happening at all times with no extra cost to you.
Right. And other white label solutions or custom apps actually require you to pay extra for updates or fixes. So when thinking about maintaining your app, you want to find a provider that doesn't charge for those updates. Driftscape, for example, we regularly update our apps at no cost to you. These updates contain both bug fixes and included features. As a final note, look for a provider that can support all platforms, Android, iOS, and the web, to really be sure that your visitors can explore with the tool of their choice.
Yes. And we hope that you found the information helpful. So, to wrap up our discussion and also to give you a real life example, we want to take you on a short tour of our digital platform and how it's being used to create engagement in Orangeville. But before we get into that, let's pause for another short poll. So, we've talked about some of our features, but I'm curious to know which features are the most appealing to you. So just like earlier, please navigate to the polls tab on the top left of your screen and participate in the second poll now by selecting the options that best fit your answer. We'll give you a couple seconds to respond to that. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for your responses. So now we're going to take you on a short tour of Driftscape and show you just a couple of the things that we had talked about earlier. And as a follow up to our webinar today, we will send you a recap, which provides you the results of each of those poll questions that we took as well.